now, finally, it's our notepad. For the notepad, I want it to come in from the top, move down. Same with the notepad. I got this line elements and then this notepad. But then the line need to come with the notepad. So I need to parent the line to this layer here so that it moves with it. And then the pen, that's fine. Hit P on the keyboard. And then right click, separate dimensions. Now we've got Y position. So I want the notepad to stop around here, 15th frame. Hit a stopwatch here and then go to the start. I want it to start from the top, maybe somewhere around there. And let's click on the both keyframes, hit F9, easy ease, go to the graph editor. Make sure you're in the value graph. Just click on this Y position. So if you have both X and Y position selected, it's going to show you this pink line of X position, but this is not what you want because you won't be able to zoom in on the Y. Just click off and then click on this Y position again. So it's only showing you the Y position. Now same thing. I want the notepad to come in with a speed and then easing into position. Go back to the timeline here and then I want to do the same trick as the clock. So I don't want to see the notepad at the beginning, so I'm going to drag these two layers, the content, the lines, and the notepad to the right a few frames so that it's not showing. You see the layer, it's not showing at the first second, at the first frame, 0 frame, and then 2 frames without anything, and then pop into the scene, slowly easing into position. Let's see. Something like that. And since my notepad is coming from top to bottom, I want my pen to come in from bottom to top. So right click, separate dimensions, put a keyframe here, and then drag it down. Go to the graph editor, just F9, easy ease, fit graph to view, and then just drag this curve. Make a curve like this so that it's easing into position. Something like that. And then just drag it back a little bit so that just make sure you're not, like if your mouse is like this, you're dragging the whole layer, including the keyframes. This is not what you want to do. What you want to do is just when you mouse become a two-headed arrow, you can just drag this layer to modify where the layer is going to show up on the timeline without changing the keyframes. You see the keyframe there, it's static, it's not moving with the layer. So this is what you want to do. If your mouse is just one mouse cursor, you're going to drag the whole layer with the keyframes. This is not what you want to do. So let's preview. Something like that. It looks nice. And if we want to even go further, I can also animate the lines here. I already have a pre-comp here, but we can just go inside this pre-comp, double click, zoom in. This is what we have. We have the lines and the dots. You know what we can do? We can just do one line and then copy and paste. Let's see, where's the first line? This is the first line. I want to put it on top. And then just go to scale. Make sure to put the anchor point. Just go to the pen behind tool. Drag the anchor point to the far left of the line. And now the line is going to animate based off that anchor point. Go back to the selection tool. Now you can see when I click on this line, it's got an anchor point on the left. So just check off this link button here so that I can animate the scale property. Hit a keyframe, go forward 10 frames, and then put a keyframe there. And only modify the X value, change it to 0 so that the line can just grow up horizontally. Something like that. See that? And now we can just easy ease, go to graph editor, value graph, click on the scale property, and then drag this handle to this S-curve shape. Something like that. And now I can just duplicate this line animation to the 3 lines over there. Delete this one, delete this one, delete this one. And then I can just Command D, Command D, Command D. That's for D for duplicate. And then I can move these animated lines down to replace the ones that I already deleted. And now I got 4 lines that's animated. But then another thing is I want them to be staggered. I don't want them to come in at the same time. So I want to stagger them by 2 frames. Something like that. And then when the first, since it's too small, so I don't want to animate this circle anymore. All I want to do is just, when the line animates in, I want the circle to pop onto the screen. Just change the starting point of the layer to the same starting point as the line. So they just come in like that. Drag everything back 1 frame. So I feel like the circle is coming too fast. Maybe move it back 1 frame further. Something like that. You see? Now we can go back to the good example. Let's see the final animation for the notepad. You see? Now what I want to do is just to stagger the 3 icon animation. After this globe settles in position, I want to start the clock, and then once the clock settles in position, I want to start the notepad. Three seconds of animation. There you go. That's how we animate using value graph. Now let's compare the good example and bad example. See what's the difference between using value graph and not using it. This is a good example. It's got more energy. It looks very smooth, and it's got a purpose. It's very deliberate. However, let's see the bad example here. It looks very flat. The whole animation it doesn't have any life to it. It's just no energy at all. Very systematic. It looks very default. Well, there you go. That's your first lesson on how to animate with value graph. I'll see you in the next video.